Okay, working on the Impala again today. Working on oil for the turbos. Just plumbing, trying to get this thing ready to start. Got this little adapter right here in the back of the block, so we can put a regular 1/8 inch MPT into that, which will tee off into both the turbos. We're going to try to run them underneath the intake, just seeing if the lines that came with the kit are going to be long enough to run into the turbos. Okay, got the oil lines run to the turbos from this little T fitting back here. Had to put a 90 on one side so that it would have enough room to get back underneath the intake manifold. Got them tied down to the valley cover bolts to keep them out of the way of everything. So we're getting a little closer here on the car. Okay, I got the feed lines buttoned up. Now we're working on the return lines. You can see we got our fittings in the turbos, and we're using these eBay lines, hoping they don't leak. Got one end in already, and then we're getting ready to cut this off right over here by this tape, and we got a 45 to go on that side. Break from the oil lines, and we're going to work on the wiring harness. We've got this taped off right here, and we're going to cut a hole from the inside where the wiring harness is going to run through. We figured that's a pretty good spot, that way you won't see it from the inside or the outside.
Right spot?
Seems like it is now. Tape on that because you're up a little higher than I took the tape on.
Yeah, and I'm writing a weld too.
Head action.
A-hole.
Okay, getting ready to try to shove this wiring harness through the hole. Hopefully it all fits in there.
Goes in or out.
We'll find out. Alright, that's probably far enough. Okay, I don't know where I left off with this. Just started working and didn't record anything. So we got the wiring harness on and most of the stuff is plugged in. We've got the intake bolted on and everything should be plugged in. We've got this line here coming off, which is just looped for now because that'll end up going to a blow-off valve. So we're going to probably hook up the fuel lines and we're just getting that much closer to getting this thing started up. Got the radiator mounted, trying to get this thing ready to run. We got the upper radiator hose figured out. It's that part number. All we had to do is cut one end off to make it the right size to fit on the radiator. We bought this hose, but it's way too big for what we're looking at. So we'll have to take that back and get one that's smaller, or maybe just a flex hose. We got the fuel system all hooked up. Got the gauge mounted to the regulator, and we primed it. And after we fixed about 4 leaks, we had that, it seems to be working. It's set at about 58 pounds. And we're getting ready to put a coolant temperature sensor in because the motor doesn't have one in it, and we need one to plug into the FI Tech.
It's so easy to get to with all the junk.
Well, the junk wasn't there until you put the exhaust on.
I know.
Working on the bottom of the car. We're waiting on a radiator hose from the parts store, so we're working on transmission lines. We're using some of this leftover AN line here and some more fittings that we got, and we're going to run these lines up to the front. We got one of them made, and it's getting ready to go on. We still got to put an end in this one and cut it to length, so we're going to run them, and just use the factory tranny cooler that's in the radiator for now, and if we have any issues we'll have to add an external cooler later, but that should be fine. The hose measured, and we marked it here with this tape, so now we're going to cut it off and get it pushed onto this fitting. Working on the exhaust, trying to get this to come down far enough so we can put a O2 sensor in it, and we're also going to put a V-band right here as opposed to like your standard 3-bolt collector flange. We got one little piece tacked on up there already, and we just cut out this angle, which is part of the donut we used to build the original turbo kit up top. So we're going to get this tacked on, and we're trying to get it to come down the firewall, and we're going to come in about right here somewhere and put the V-band on. Here is the driver's side pipe completed, or passenger side pipe I mean. The only thing we have left to do is we'll have to drill a hole and put in an O2 sensor bung, and we got it painted, so we'll just have to grind some of that off and weld it, but that's what it turned out like. It looks pretty good. We got the V-band on for the other pipe to attach, and we welded that on the inside. So that's that side done, and then once we get the other side done, we'll show you how that looks too. We got the driver's side pipe finished up. Here's the view from the back. They look pretty even, so we're pretty happy with how that turned out. We got these pipes all wrapped up. O2 sensors going right there. This side has already got the O2 sensor installed up here. We got these V-bands, so then we're gonna do it like this just to start it, and eventually this car will have a full exhaust on it. So getting not much closer to starting it. We're just waiting on a radiator hose and a couple other little things, and we should be able to start this thing up. Got this Impala up off the ground just a little bit. We're rigging up a battery so we can try to get this thing fired up for the end of this video. This white wire runs in as our switched wire, which will go to the fuel injection. We're getting ready to put water and tranny fluid in it. Got our radiator hose finally down there, and we looped our heater hoses. In the back we worked on the fuel pump, and we got it grounded, and for now we've got the wire that signals the fuel pump just running over the top of the car. Just rigging this up basically like we did the Chevette just to get it started. So we're going to get a little gas to put in it, and then we should be ready to start it up. Adding training fluid to the Impala. Turns out the only funnel that we have that will fit in this fancy dipstick is about 1/8 of an inch at the bottom, so it takes a while to add training fluid.
I got arm pump.
We got this thing all wired up, temporary purposes. We did our initial setup on the handheld for the FI Tech. Marshall's over here, and he's going to be our ignition switch with our little battery over here. So this is the first start. Everything is cold. We haven't run it before, so we're going to see how it works because we don't fake this stuff.
Now, question. Does that need to be unplugged after you set that? I mean, does the key light need to be shut off?
No, it live updates.
Okay.
Okay, so here we go, Marshall. Crank it up. Pretty good for a new fuel injection system.